I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the 445th episode. This is live from Wednesday, May 7th, 2025. It is 9:05 p.m. Eastern. And we got a big show planned for you tonight. If you are in the Madison County area, Anderson, Madison County, if you're concerned about environmental issues, if you're concerned about drinking water and Superfund sites, I want to make sure, because there were a lot of people last time that thought we were saying fun, like F-U-N, super fun, which that sounds like really cool. But no, this is Superfund, F-U-N-D, Superfund Sites. And we did a whole show on this back, it's been just a little bit ago. Let me scroll down here and get the exact date and time. It was the 420th episode, so on March 30th, on episode 420, March 30th, we had our guest that's going to be joining us tonight on, and we talked about the Superfund sites in Anderson area, Madison County, and really beyond. We talked about other places in Indiana. And during that show, our guest talked to us about a meeting that she was going to have, her and a couple of her other friends that are really working on this over in the Madison County area. They were gearing up to have a meeting, and they had the meeting. That was 2.5 or 3 weeks ago. They had the meeting, and it went very well. It was well attended, and they were able to get a lot of information out. But unfortunately, there were some plans that changed, because when she was on last time, way back on March 30th, the plan was for her and the EPA to do a joint meeting. And then just before their meeting was to start, she was notified that something had happened, and the EPA wasn't going to be joining her at the meeting. And so they wanted to hold their own meeting, and they held that meeting a week ago. It was a week ago. No, wait a minute. No, it was yesterday. What the hell am I talking about? It was yesterday. So the meeting that the EPA held, it's been sorry, time works differently here in the upstairs basement. So the EPA's meeting was actually yesterday, and that meeting was also pretty well attended, but it kind of derailed and was a little bit of a shit show. So we're going to be joined by Brianna Davis here in just a few moments, and we're going to talk about both of those meetings, talk about the differences. We're going to review a couple parts of yesterday's meeting, and talk about the issues that are still ongoing. Because listen, you would think that they've had this meeting, the EPA is involved, so they're going to do something about it now, and the problem's basically over now, right? Well, it's the government, so that's not exactly correct. So we're going to be talking with her and looking into what's going on with all of this, and seeing what's going to be happening. Before we get there, though, I do want to remind you that this is obviously a YouTube show. So if you would be so kind to smash that like button, go and hit the thumb, give us a like. That would be fantastic. If you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. You can do that for free. It does not cost you anything. And click the bell so you're notified when we go live. Obviously, we are live Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m., but you always want to be notified when we drop other lives, or throughout our off days, or static videos or shorts. So click that bell. And if you want to communicate with us, if you agree with us, if you disagree, if you have something to add to the conversation, if you're watching live, you're going to communicate over here on the right-hand side there in the live chat. If you're watching via the replay button into the future, you'll comment down below in the comment section. Either way, we will get back with you there. And so I have just a couple of other quick topics that I need to cover really quickly before we get into this. And that just simply is, number one, there was a Board of Works meeting today in the city of Muncie. And there was apparently some funny business that went on there. So we're going to be looking at that tomorrow. I know there are some people that are interested in my thoughts and my opinions in this, but we're going to be looking at that tomorrow. The other thing that I need to bring to everybody's attention in Muncie, Delaware County, tomorrow there will be a Delaware County Redevelopment Commission meeting. And it, again, like last meeting, will be held at the old Delaware County building downtown. So I do believe that means that it will be live streamed on time tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It should be. If it's not, that'll be a problem, and we'll have to deal with that then. But it should be live streamed. So for anybody that's interested in watching it in real time, but you cannot attend, you can watch it in live time tomorrow at 9 a.m. That's Thursday, the 8th. And you'll be able to watch that by going to the Delaware County government's YouTube page. I have some things that I'm working on currently as it relates to that meeting. So we will have a big show tomorrow on the Redevelopment Commission and everything that I'm currently working on. For everybody that thought that Bill Walters was just gone, think again. I didn't figure he was going to go away that easily. So we're going to have some stuff concerning Bill Walters and the Redevelopment Commission and everything going on there. So you'll want to tune into that. So, all right, before we bring Brianna up, I want to remind everybody that all of our social medias are here. If you want to follow us on social media, you can do that here. There's our YouTube link, our Rumble link, both of our Facebook links. The Facebook link on top, the facebook.com/political spotlight. That's the page for the show. However, I consider that the second page. If you want the most up-to-date information, it will be the Facebook link at the bottom, which is facebook.com/Bilbrey318. There's the X account, Bilbrey Live. That's on X. And then our studio line, my private email, the show email. And if you want to get in contact with us there, that's the way to do it. So that's that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I think we're going to bring up now our special guest, Brianna Davis, and we'll see what she has to say. Hello.
Hello.
It's always so weird because I've told Brianna this, but a lot of people don't know this, but she is like the absolute doppelganger for my brother's wife. She looks identical to my sister-in-law. And so it's always so strange. There were a couple times I was talking there where you were down below, and I know it's you, but I keep thinking like, what is Ashley doing here? It's so strange. Well,
That's funny. That's funny that you say that because our one of our friends that is in the water group with us, Heidi, that went on the Fox 59 news.
yeah.
She told me, like, she made a post comparing me to Lois Gibbs, who was like the activist, I think, with the Love Canal.
Okay.
But she put a picture up, and it's really weird because I do kind of look like her too.
That's so strange.
I know.
What was the name? Lois Gibbs?
Yeah, Lois Gibbs, Lois, and then Gibbs.
I'm looking here. Okay. Yeah, I see it. I see it. That's definitely when she was younger.
Right?
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
That's crazy. Absolutely. Okay, so for everybody, let's give just a real quick like a recap of what the deal was. I mean, if everybody, if anyone that's interested in this, if you have not watched the first episode that we did with Bree, that was episode 420. You can go back and find that on our YouTube page. You can also find that on X, find it on Facebook. You can find it everywhere you find us. You can find it. It's episode 420. It was called Superfund Sunday. So that's episode 420. But give everybody just a quick reminder of what we're talking about here.
So we're talking about Superfund Sites and the NPL site specifically in Anderson, Indiana. But this is like a national issue. There's Superfund sites all across the U.S., and those are just what the EPA classifies as contamination sites that have like contamination either in the groundwater or in the environment that was left behind typically by industrial waste or just like maybe like a landfill that was like unauthorized and like residents used it. It doesn't really have to be like a big corporate company. It's just like anywhere where a lot of contamination was. So
yeah, I mean, here specifically in East Central Indiana, I mean, obviously anybody alive today, you know that basically our world is different here in the East Central Indiana because all of the factories have basically dried up and gone away. They went elsewhere, but they're no longer here. But 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 100 years ago, in the last 100 years, this was a very heavily industrialized area. You had Delco and GM and Borg Warner, just all of the factories that we had. Everybody knows, we had the factories here in Muncie, you had the factories in Anderson, and just all throughout this area specifically, but all throughout the United States. But definitely here in East Central Indiana. And all of these factories, we all have heard stories. We've all got uncles or grandpas or family members who worked at these places who talked about, well, yeah, we used to go and dump, sludge over here behind, this place or over here. So everybody's heard stories like this. And we all know of places like, I could take you to several places in Muncie without ever having looked anything up, where I know around the city of Muncie where there's no way in hell I would want to live. I wouldn't want to drink the water, coming up from the ground, or even from the city water. I just wouldn't want any part of that. And so we're all familiar with that stuff. Even though these factories are gone, the waste that they left behind is not. And so that causes a problem. And you got involved with this, and you found out that it was a really big problem in the city of Anderson. And there are several places throughout Madison County as a whole, but there's one specific place in Anderson that's bad, and you got involved. And so the last time you were on, it was right before the EPA split from coming to the meeting. So you were supposed to have a meeting. And just real quick to kind of recap again, did you contact them or did they contact you?
To cancel or like just in general?
Like at first, who contacted who at first?
So I reached out to them, to
You
to
you
Region
reached
5
out to them
EPA.
to see if there was what could be done.
Yeah.
And they seemed very interested in your interest.
Yes, and they told me that they had already done some public interviews the year prior and only 2 people showed up. And they said that they put an ad in the Herald Bulletin and like they sent me a copy of the ad, but I was never able to find it like in any of the archives or anything. So I'm not sure it was ever ran, but only 2 people showed up, so they were like excited that I called. Ruth specifically, the community coordinator, like on
Okay.
the site. Um, and she said, I asked her if they would do another public meeting, and they said, well, the EPA probably wouldn't have like much to say at this point. And I was like, well, like, like you say that, but the community, like I just posted about it and a post like kind of went viral, which I was like referring to the TikTok that I had Kate
Yeah.
Justice make. And I said, like, there's hundreds of people that don't know. And I was like, I don't feel like the public was sufficiently informed. And I was like, is there anything that we can do? And she said that if I scheduled a meeting, then they would attend for a Q&A. If I held a public meeting and invited them to it, they would come and do a Q&A with the public. And then they would set individual interviews up like on a sign-up sheet for the future.
Sure.
And then they canceled that. So they said that it was they got approved for testing at another site, coincidentally for the same day. And then also that they understand that Madison County has a lot of concerns and they wanted to make sure it was a productive meeting. So they wanted to cancel that one, reschedule their own set of meetings, and invite our public officials to that.
Okay. All right. And so how how close to the meeting did they cancel?
I believe it was like I didn't find out until about a week before the meeting. I would have to go back and look, but it's on
That's what I thought.
yeah, I have it specifically. I announced it on the petition, the change.org petition. So when I
Mhm.
announced it on there is when I had found out. So
Okay.
it was only like a week, maybe a week and a half before. So, and I had to call and find out. Like, I guess one member of the team knew that they were possibly not going to be able to make it, but Ruth did not know. And neither, like, the one that did know didn't bother to like reach out and let me know. They just like waited until I called to find out.
God, that's
Yeah. So that was kind of frustrating.
and so when you're calling the EPA, like where were these people based out of? Indianapolis?
I believe Region 5 is based in Chicago. So
Okay.
so Region 5 covers like Great Lakes.
Yeah.
So but Indiana is like involved in Region 5. So that's I believe most of them came down from Chicago. And but I do know that they had some like item reps at the meeting last night. So like those people were obviously from Indiana, but
Okay. So you held your meeting, and that meeting is recorded. It is out there. If you want to watch that meeting, you can. We need to get it on our channel, and I'll work on doing that here maybe this weekend. But you can get that feed on Catherine's page. Brianna shared it. There's several.
and Rebecca Crooms.
Rebecca Crooms has shared it. I know Nicole has shared it on her YouTube page, which is help me with that.
Heads Up.
Yeah, that's right. Heads Up
I think Heads Up
Productions.
Production.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Heads Up Productions. And you can find that on YouTube. There's lots of places where you can find it. And then after your meeting, which was a really productive meeting, then how long between your meeting and their meeting?
I believe it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Ours was April 23rd and theirs was May 6th. So I think, is that 2 weeks?
Yeah, close to there.
I think maybe a week. No, a week after. I think it's a week.
Okay. Okay. Wait, when was your meeting?
April 23rd, I think.
April 23rd. Okay, so that was 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks.
So
and then we have our next meeting is 2 weeks out from yesterday. So May 21st is the community's next meeting.
Okay. Well, hello there, Kate, and welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nicole. So Nicole's posting the over in the chat. She's posting links to the videos of those meetings, and then there are also shorts and different things that they've made from it. And Nicole also mentioned that thing. Don't forget, someone posted about the EPA canceling before they announced it. So
yeah, so someone had got on Facebook and left a comment in a group that I'm blocked from, and they said that it was like a post from me saying that we were having a meeting with the EPA attending for a Q&A. It was like our flyer for it, and she had commented and said the EPA will no longer be attending this meeting. I didn't find out about that comment until like 2 or 3 days ago. But that was left before I found out from the EPA that the EPA was canceling. So we found that to be odd.
That's the other weird thing going on here. So we're not talking about immigration. We're not talking about trans issues. We're not talking about Second Amendment rights issues, or if you like Trump, or if you like Biden, or if you hate Trump. We're not talking about political issues here. We're talking, and really, we're not even talking about like environmental issues in the way that it gets political. We're talking about everyday normal Hoosiers, citizens of Anderson, Madison County, and beyond, Democrats, Republicans, independents, people who don't care about politics altogether, that are living in areas where their water is not safe and there are serious issues. And what's bothersome is it seems to be that there is, for some reason, some kind of weirdness going on, because you're wanting to notify everybody, and there's this other group out there that's like very specific, like, you said it's blocked, like you're blocked from this other group, and I don't really understand why all of that's happening. And it seems like it seems like to me what they were trying to do is almost discredit you by posting, like, here, look, she's saying the EPA is coming and they are not coming. Like, that seems rather strange.
Right.
Like, why aren't we all working together?
Yeah, and if they knew, then why wouldn't they say something to us?
Yeah. Why didn't they
like,
reach
that's
out?
not really like, they even said in the comment, like, we're not sure if if the original posters are going to cancel the meeting or reschedule.
Yeah.
And someone had said they're keeping it going so that way people can be informed. And that's what we did. But it's like, if you knew, I just feel like, I mean, when I found out about all of this, like, it didn't stop me from letting everybody on the internet know about it. So it's like, I didn't pick and choose who was like, worthy of knowing. So I think it's weird that they wouldn't let us know that, like, they knew the EPA canceled before we did.
Yeah. So, okay, getting into yesterday's meeting, you were there for a portion of it.
I was there for a portion of it, and I watched the rest of it out in the parking lot. So
I think it got a little crazy. And so do you know the names of the people who showed up from the EPA?
So I do know two of the people's names, and then I made two posts with two more people's names that I was going to talk about tonight, but they announced their names in the very beginning of the meeting. They introduce everyone that showed up. So like they have a supervisor, they have some people from item, and they go through and they say each person's name.
Yeah. Let me pull this up here and get this try to get this going here. So I mean, what walking into yesterday's meeting, what did you feel like the point of yesterday's meeting was?
Well, I kind of knew what it was because they emailed me and told me what they were going to be doing at that meeting. So they had told me that they were just going to go over what a Superfund program is, what a Superfund program can address, and the history on our NPL site that is in active remediation stages. They were supposed to go over all of that. So I felt like that's what they were going to do. But I felt like it wasn't going to be I mean, it was going to be minimal information, and that's what it ended up being. And I feel like it was just kind of like, it kind of just felt like they were there they gave us like numbers when we signed in. We had to sign in, and then like you could sign up for an individual interview for them to contact you in the future. So I feel like that was productive. But they had us all take a number like when we walked in, and they were going to go through during the allotted time for public comment and go through each number and let each number ask a question. So I unfortunately did not wait for them to go through the allotted time, but that's because they were making my blood boil. So
Okay, so we're going to get this pulled up here, and let's see what we've got going on.
I am at the Anderson Library. The meeting has not started yet. You should start using the mic. They're waiting on.
So there was a pretty good grouping of people there again.
Start in about 5 minutes. So the meeting will start.
Okay, Megan has the names of the people that were there.
nice. Go Megan.
So the names of the people there are.
Get a shot of that.
Thank you, Megan. Are Matt Prater, water sampling item, Clara Copps, remedial project manager, Ruth Mutson, community coordinator, and Courtney Townsend, item. So that's there. Now, Kiff 76 asked, have you guys have had the water tested, right?
So I've had my water tested, but I don't live in Anderson. So I had mine tested through the state, but unfortunately to test for what is present at the site is like, it costs a lot of money. Like the VOCs test and which is the volatile organic compounds, and then like the PFAS, all of those are like $100 to $150 for each test. So we've gotten like a sample test kind of from Amazon, but it does not break it down it only really does like heavy metals. And I don't believe anybody like within the site has had their water tested fully, like a full panel done. So they offered to do it at the meeting last night. I think the Matt Prater, the guy from Item, offered to test people's water for VOCs, I believe, if they lived in Anderson. So they posted that in the Superfund group. They posted his contact information. So if anyone is interested in reaching out to him. But other than that, I don't think that there's been any individuals to have their water tested for it.
Kiff, what are you saying no to? Yeah. Well, okay, I see what you're saying. So, okay. So, and there was a Kyle Pierce was there. I'm not a big fan of Kyle Pierce, but he wasn't there to help. He wasn't there helping. Kyle Pierce was basically there because after your meeting, but before this meeting, you appeared on radio program in Anderson
The
last week.
WHBU
Yep.
with Kevin Smith and Brett Busby. Brett Busby interviewed me, and then they aired it live on Saturday, on the Saturday following my meeting, I believe.
Okay. And so you when you were on the show, tell everybody what you said referenced Kyle Pierce.
When I was on the radio show, I had mentioned, actually I did my interview with Brett Busby, and then when they were on air on Saturday, I had, I was listening live, and Kevin Smith was talking about other hotspots, environmental hotspots in Anderson. And then so I had texted Brett Busby and asked him, I told him that Kyle Pierce, our state rep, had given me a list of 113 potential sources for the Broadway and Grand Superfund site. When they talked about that, they told me they would ask Kyle for me that question on where that list came from, because I had received the list from Kyle, but I had reached out and asked where it came from, and I don't remember if he had given me a direct answer, but I remember it was item or EPA, and I had asked them to ask again. And so when he came on the show later, they asked him at the end, and Brett Busby accidentally said that I said that he had given me a list of 113 Superfund sites, which I had said potential sources. And he apologized to Kyle Pierce for the misinterpretation. And then I guess at the meeting last night with the EPA, I can't remember what radio I told you earlier.
NPR.
NBU
NPR, yeah.
or
NPR.
And they were recording, and I guess he was listening to the radio on his way home, and he said, I just wanted to stop in because I needed to clarify that my list was not for 113 Superfund sites. It was for 113 potential sources.
So,
and at the meeting last night, that's what I had stated. I had stated potential sources, not Superfund sites.
That wasn't your mess up. You didn't mess up and say, hey, that was a misspeak by the radio man, and he even clarified that, but Kyle Pierce was really butthurt about that.
Apparently, I guess.
And so can you explain what the difference is
between a Superfund site and what a potential source is?
So the
list
people that aren't following,
the potential sources are like what they have gathered, a list of potential businesses or locations that are possibly contributing to the contamination at the Superfund site. So the Superfund site is what has been determined where the contamination is, and then the potential sources are where they think the contamination is coming from.
Yeah. Okay. And so it's all still an issue. It's just not the same thing as being, I guess I can understand wanting to clarify that, but I just think it's odd the fact that the radio interviewer the other day clarified that, and then he still wanted to make sure. I mean, I don't know. I just think that's kind of. I wish he would have been more.
Maybe.
Yeah, unnecessary. I wish he would have been more involved in other ways. Like if he was going to be there, or maybe if it was last minute. I guess the point is it shouldn't have been last minute. He should have been involved with this from the get-go, but there are a lot of things in Madison County that he is not involved with, which is very frustrating that happens. But so, okay, so what what was your frustration? Why did you end up walking out? I mean, what is there any specific thing that we need to show from the meeting? What do you want me to do with that? Or I mean, you kind of tell me where we're going from here. Do you want to talk about the frustration why you walked out? Is there something that you want me to show first?
I mean, if you wanted to go through the video and like kind of like pause and talk about what happens, we can, but I did send you 2 reels, and in one of those reels, I mean, I had started to say something, but like my frustration, which caused me to walk out, was that they came there and they put a PowerPoint on and they were giving these historical facts about the NPL site at Broadway and Grand. And it was as if they hadn't read their own documents. Um, like they had dates on there from when the contamination was found, and they were missing dates. They didn't even include that it was ever found in the finished drinking water. They kept stating over and over again, it's not in the tap water. It's not in the tap water. And then eventually, like, I got them to admit that it was in the tap water, but then he had said that it was below MCLs, which is not true. Their documents state otherwise. But they were just there, and I had confronted the EPA, kind of like I had emailed them like some questions and just some of my concerns, because I had heard that the EPA had told some citizens that it's not in the drinking water. And I said, well, I can't find any publicly available data that shows that the water is not currently contaminated. And they keep telling me to refer to the Anderson's water reports. And Neil McKee, the water director, is on video saying that those are not trustworthy, that they have been wrong, and that they just found out that the PFAS are above drinking or above action level, and that they have 5 years to treat for it or replace the infrastructure. And so I just was really frustrated that they came and they didn't bother to even address any of those concerns. And I had told the EPA, I was like, if you guys don't have testing results that you can provide to the public that show that our water isn't contaminated right now, then you shouldn't be saying that it's not in the water. And I had that conversation with Region 5 EPA before the meeting last night. And they came last night and still said it's not in the water. They didn't address that concern. When I brought it up, it was like, do you know her? Like, it was just crazy. And it's like, do you know your own documents? Like, do you know your own information? It was just, I got super frustrated because it was like a slap in the face. And if they were going to if they did come from Chicago, I'm really shocked that they came and they had like minimal information. It's just information that you can go to the EPA website and look at everything that they just told you. They didn't provide anything that is not available. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, they didn't address, and it's not even like they told the whole truth.
Well, sure. And I'm of the opinion that that's exactly what they came to do. They came there to kind of obfuscate and try to kind of play smoke and mirrors type of a game to make people feel comfortable. And I kind of feel like they came to try to put the fire out that you guys have been trying to create, which I think is like what the whole point of the organization is for.
Right.
I don't think they're not coming to help, And,
well, Aaron Brockovich says that they're not here to help. So
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, so you got absolutely, and yeah, I think that's pretty well known. Do you know if Kiff has said, I wonder if John Kim is still the director of Region 5? Do you know if that's him? Do you know who the director still is or not? I can look.
I have not seen that name. I have not seen that name. The supervisor of the EPA last night was Betsy Nightingale. So I did not see a Jim there.
No, the director, EPA Region 5, is Ann Vogel.
Right.
She
Yeah,
was
that sounds right.
appointed by President Trump in 2025. Region 5 oversees EPA activities in Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Ohio, Wisconsin, as well as 37 tribal nations. So it's Ann Vogel now is who the director is. So okay, let's we've got this this 3-minute clip here pulled up that Nicole has done, and it's EPA Superfund Site 101 and Kyle Pierce. Why should we believe anything you have to say? Let's put this up here and let people hear kind of what was going on here.
That IDEM and EPA have looked at. And so from that statement, it seemed like there have been suggestions that the 113 positive, I'm very clear. I actually was driving back, I heard that was happening, and that's snippet, but so on the HRS, oh yeah, sorry. My name's Kyle Pierce, State Representative for Anderson, Chesterfield, and Marpleville. There's a lot of familiar faces.
How should we believe anything you're gonna say?
You can choose to believe me or not.
You stood up here last time you were here and just.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna, thank you. So in that letter I sent to you, I referenced 113 sites. The IDEM had identified 113 potential sites, and so in the HRS report, which is the hazardous.
They actually identified 137.
Okay, so in the HRS report, the item number 44 in terms of their item 44 on their reference list, they list the list from IDEM, which is 113 locations. The location in which I was referencing was on that location. That was done before the EPA had started reviewing sites. So I just want to be very clear. IDEM was not saying these 113 sites are causing it. It was 113 potential sites they were reviewing it. That reference list, like I said, is on the HRS report. I want to clarify. I heard some folks saying there's 113.
Can you be clear what you will do to help Madison County fix the water problem? How about that?
A couple of things. So at the state level, we're trying to go after people.
The volume is what the volume is. It's up as high as it we can get it, unfortunately.
We passed in a couple different ways. There was a bill we passed this year that's trying to strengthen the water supply and the water treatment centers. And so then there's also those options in terms of the airstrips, go after things, and then the city is looking
that have failed.
Oh, okay. And then the city is looking at a couple different options in terms of just leaving those the Broadway Center completely, which is having the PFAS issues, it's having the VOCs issues.
Do you want to take a drink of some of the samples we have here today? Any of you?
No.
No, why not?
No,
No.
I took it right on myself.
I don't think, I'm not sitting here saying that's good. We need to go after it. So I'm very clear.
But we shouldn't have to pay 120% more either for our water.
And that's why you're having another option. So I just want to be very clear. I want to come out real quick.
Can you write a letter to the IURC and,
Write to them,
What?
to the IURC.
yeah, can you write
Can
to
you
them?
put word in, because I'm not spending this $130 million?
So at the state level, and because it's an active court case.
I'm talking about a state level. I'm talking about as you represent us.
Yes.
No, he doesn't.
You're supposed to represent us.
Then let's
Can
see
you
it
make
happen.
suggestions to
Here's-
them about that $130 million?
Yes, I
A
reached
lot of
out.
us can't afford that.
I hear
that's
you.
true, JD. Or that's true, Brandon.
There's two different paths that's being worked on. I just want to be very clear on the 113 list. And so I was coming on the way back.
I just want to be clear about the list.
I have to get going. I will get my cell phone out. Okay, I'll get my cell phone out. It's 317-443-1791. Again, I just want to stop by real quick on the way home off the radio. So again, 317-443-1791.
Well, that doesn't even make sense what he said. I just wanted to stop by real quick on my way home off the radio.
Yeah, he said right before that, he said, I wanted to just stop by and clarify the list. Like, you don't need to clarify the list. It was already clarified. And
was
if
right.
he was referring the radio that was playing at the time of his drive to the library, I did not say that he said Superfund sites. I said 113 potential sources. So maybe he should listen before he shows up to rant.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I mean, and then he says that they're doing stuff to fix stuff. No, they aren't. I mean, I'm sure he was aware of the 120 increase for our water rates that they proposed last year in October. And I mean, there's been nothing. I've sent him my petition with over 600 signatures on it, and he has not responded.
Yeah.
The only person that has responded to that petition with over 600 signatures on it is Tiffany Harless.
Oh, really? That's interesting. And was she here, Tiffany Harless, here at this thing last night?
She was there, and she had convinced some of the other city council members to come. Jennifer Culp and Rachel Landers both came. I'm not sure if anyone else came. If there was, sorry for missing them. But
Yeah. Hello, Paula. So that's not, I mean, that's not surprising. That's just Kyle Pierce that's just Kyle Pierce. That doesn't surprise me.
at least he clarified who it came from. He said it came from Item. So at least we know that answer now, because it was Item or EPA when it was on the Busby radio. So
okay.
now he said that it came from Item. So the list came from Item.
Yeah. So you made a post earlier that said senior toxicologist with Region 5 stated that the contamination was not in the water in the taps. When you told them what their document stated, he asked EPA reps, do you know her? He then proceeded to admit it is in the tap water, but it's below the MCLS. Again, their documents state otherwise. The air strippers were installed to keep the VOCS below respective MCLS in 1999. Just 5 years after installation, IDIM noted elevated concentrations in the finished water, specifically documented in the years 2004, 05, 06, 2010, 11, 16. They said the most recent tests have shown that they are below the MCLS, but they did not have those to show to the public, and the EPA reps had been asked for those before the meeting. So that's definitely interesting. And then along with that, you had shared the following picture.
Yes. So in that picture, it shows that in the unfinished water, they had the contamination was at or above the MCL, which is maximum contamination level, like the legal limit. So it was at or above in the unfinished water. And then and that was found in 1988 and in 1992. So last night they said that it was found in 1992. They never stated it was in 1988. So they just completely missed like a whole decade almost. I mean, 5 years, whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm like, they just completely missed the whole date that's in their documents. And it states that in 2004, so they installed the air strippers, which is what is supposed to keep the VOCs below the legal limit in our finished water. They installed that mechanism in 1999, and then this document, this next page, shows in 2004 item noted elevated concentrations
Is
of
this there?
contaminants in the finished water. Yes. So just 5 years after what was supposed to be treating the contaminants, after that was installed, it failed 5 years after it was installed. And that's what they're still saying is treating our water currently.
That's crazy.
And they acted like they hadn't even seen this document. And then when he finally admitted that it is in the water, it's below MCLs though. They don't have any proof of that. And this document right here states otherwise. It would not say that they found elevated VOC concentrations if it was below the MCL. And even so, the EPA gives a list that says that even safe or legal limits does not equal safe. So that argument is kind of just, even if it was below the MCLs, that does not mean it's safe for us.
Yeah.
But again, their documents state they were elevated. So I don't believe, and I mean, they've said that they've not been out here. So I don't know what they've done to make sure that that infrastructure is running correctly to treat that out. And they say that we need to refer to Anderson City water reports, which again, Neil McKee said are not trustworthy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they didn't even read this. This is their document.
That's so frustrating.
And the person that was speaking about it was a human health, like senior toxicologist for the EPA. He's the one that determines whether or not our human health is at risk.
Right.
Like, okay, that made me so upset that he's sitting there trying to lie to our faces despite me telling him I literally have a document that states otherwise. It's your document.
That's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because I mean, sitting there, you know what they're doing, you know that they're lying directly to you, and there's just, you feel like there's not. I mean, at that point, again, it's kind of like what I was talking about last night. It's done this way specifically to beat people down, so they feel like they can't overcome this ever, and that's just kind of the whole design of it. Let me see if I can put this up here.
Right. And then when I was expressing my frustration with, I had asked them what is the EPA's definition of a productive meeting? And they did not give me an answer, but I asked that question because I said, if you're so worried about which they mentioned this in the beginning of the meeting about like the relationship that they build with the community. And I said, if you're worried about the relationship that you build with the community, then I'm just letting you know that canceling the community held meeting to hold a politically affiliated one was not the correct step.
And what did they say when you said that?
Their response was, well, we're here now. We're here to answer your questions now. Oh, well, thank you. 37 years later.
That's so frustrating.
And 7 years later after it was put on the NPL site. I mean, 7 years. And they told us last night, it's going to take 4 years for them to test for how bad the contamination is currently before they can do anything to remediate it.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they are trying to increase the water rates for Anderson residents. The health department, they never said anything to me about my petition nor our first meeting.
Was there anybody from the health department here?
No, there was not. So they shared the flyer for the meeting, for the EPA meeting. They shared the EPA's flyer, but they did not attend.
That's interesting. So I think that's something that the citizens of Madison County need to be demanding of your local government is where was the...
He said they were waiting for you to be born.
Good Lord.
Thanks. That's funny.
God. So, boycott Anderson City, utilities, and That's
Yeah. I was like, maybe everybody could just like, stop showering, using their water for a few weeks. I don't know.
it's I was going to be mean for a minute, but I'll be nice. We got too many viewers from Anderson for me to be too mean, I guess. But
Yeah, be nice.
yeah, I'll try to be nice. So the other thing, real quick, I wanted to say to Kif, I vouch for Brianna and these people, Kif. I mean, if you want to reach out to Brianna, or I can get you guys connected. Kif is a secret agent, so it's kind of strange to. Kif is secretive, but I'll. Kif, you contact me and tell me what you want me to do and how you want me to get you in contact with these people, and I'll do that. But I think that would be good. Yeah, that's the other thing. Was the mayor was not at the meeting?
No.
Were the commissioners any of the commissioners at the meeting?
No.
The realist. I feel like we need a hold on here. Hold on. So none of those people were there?
No, none of them were there. And they were all notified.
That's ridiculous.
None of them. The mayor hasn't even responded to the petition that I have that has
Really
600 signatures on it. Nope. I mean, it sends him an email, I think, like once a week, and he never responds.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
So they're trying to approve raising the water rates currently. It's like I think it's still in talks, but they're trying to approve it.
Yeah, no, and Catherine's right. No one's coming to. That's the number one thing. Nobody is coming to save you. That's used to be a major mantra here of the show. No one is coming to save you. You need to step up and definitely do it. It's just such a frustrating situation.
And it's like if item came, I'm also a little confused on like why the Indiana Department of Health didn't come. Like not only our county department, but why didn't the state health department come either to help like maybe answer questions about like what is going on with our public health from this site?
Yeah. So what's the next step? There's another meeting coming up?
Yes. So
and what's that meeting?
So we still have to brainstorm after.
Holy shit. Wait, have a GoFundMe to raise funds for testing by a reputable lab. Delaware County's was around $20,000.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's kind of like what is included in the next steps is we're trying to secure like some labs, some private testing to get people's water tested, or Catherine Callahan had mentioned doing like having the city do some kind of grants for water testing for the citizens, like maybe we could do like a small fee for each citizen. And I mean, if we all chipped in together, it would get our water at least tested, something to get our water tested.
Well, and the other thing is, look, there's a lot of people in Anderson. There's a lot of people affected by this, and this is kind of like the how churches do it. You know how we, I guess, used to do it. You know, you've got a lot of different people that go to a church. You've got a contractor. You've got somebody that's an electrician, and so when they need the new church built, they don't go out and have a contractor build it for lots and lots and lots of money. They have the people in-house do what they're good at, and you all chip in and you do the thing. Somebody out there has got to work for somebody that's connected to something that's, that could maybe help out. So, that's another thing, that if there's somebody out there that's connected to some kind of lab corp or something that would be able to say, hey, we'll give you this at a discounted rate or whatever, there's got to be somebody out there that could do that. Like Kate's saying, you could always start a nonprofit. It could help you apply for grants. You can do things and try to get things at discounted rates or do different things like that. And that's something that I would really look into doing, getting a core group of people together and having like a board of, I don't know, directors or whatever, someone that would be able to set and do things right, to be able to collect money and do those things. Where'd those ARPA funds go? That's absolutely right. Now wait a minute. Megan says, what are you wanting me to put up, Megan? Where did you send that to directly? And we'll get that up. What am I looking for? Is it a picture? What is it? The Matt Prater? Is it that picture of the thing from Matt Prater? Is that what you're talking about, Megan? Is it
maybe his information to get their water tested? He said he would test people's water for free for VOCs.
Is it this? Is this what we're talking about?
Well, no, those are, she should have sent one with just Matt Prater's number. It's like a card, his card. If you go to the Superfund site group, it's in the site group on Facebook.
Okay, let me go there.
You'll just have to scroll down through the post, but I think Megan posted it. I think Nicole just sent it.
Here we go. Here we go. Neanna department. Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's that. So for anybody out there that's interested in what's going on, there's Matt Prater's information.
And when you contact him, ask him for the most recent water results for City of Anderson, since he said he had those on some website, but didn't tell us what the website was.
Didn't say what the website was.
Nope.
Absolutely insane. And the first thing I put up was the pic. It was everybody that was there.
Yeah.
So yeah. I was thinking about HML. Tweety Bird, did you guys have any experience with HML when you guys were doing the stuff here in Muncie?
Catherine, I believe he told a citizen last night he would test their water for VOCs for free.
But again,
VOCs are not the only thing that are present. Just
I mean, I was going to say there's more things that need to be tested for, and again, for the kind of the conspiracy theorist out there, he said free for us, but they're paying for it, is what they said. He said free for us, but they're paying for it. Okay, man, this is a wild chat. Tweety Bird, is that a no? You don't have any experience with HML? He said he would test Heidi Snyder's for free. Yep. Holy shit! That the chat was wild there because everybody was answering talking to different things. I don't know really what was going on. What, Kate? Yeah, nothing is ever really free. Yes, you pay for it somehow. Yeah, I used to know
What
some
is
people.
HML?
It's a lab here in Muncie.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he said for free. It's free for us. They fit the bill.
Yeah, really. I'm sure the taxpayers low key pay for it in a way.
Yeah, well, oh no, yeah, definitely. No question. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That I mean, HML. Who's your microbiological laboratory in Muncie? They might be someone that could definitely help out with what's going on there. What lab did you choose, Tweety Bird? Are you free to say? Can you say, or can you remember? Or maybe you can't remember. I don't know if you're not able to say. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to say. Where did we go? What's happening here? My dad worked at Prime Battery in Anderson as well as Brockway Glass in Lapel. He passed from 2 different types of cancer in 2014. Factories have burn release toxins. Oh yeah,
Yeah, and
question.
Brockway
Yeah.
Glass is a Superfund site.
Is it really?
There's another one in Lapel as well. It's called the Long Open Dump, and it was an NPL site as well, like the one in Anderson.
Yeah.
And they secured funding for that even with no potential source, like no company liable, like because they found residents and locals liable, but they secured funding anyways. And they got it cleaned up and taken off the list within a year. And they capped it off, and there's supposed to be continuous groundwater monitoring, but I'm not sure. It says that there's no data available when I look it up. So not sure if there is any groundwater monitoring still happening, but both of those places are Superfund sites in Lapel.
Yeah.
And so I sent you a second clip in Messenger. It was like another short reel with Betsy Nightingale. And she was the supervisor for Region 5 EPA. And she had stated, like over and over again, she was like stating that they're not a drinking water program. And like that pretty much we can bring our concerns to them, but like they're not responsible for it. So they can only pass it on to the drinking water program, which is kind of crazy that they say that because they told Kate Justice the same thing in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts. They said that like their concern isn't human health, but their first statement in their mission statement is that they are to protect human health. So I put that in my video that I sent you. But we're talking about elevated concentrations of contaminants in the drinking water, and to be placed on an NPL list, they have to deem it like critical to human health. So they've already said that it is critical to our health, and it's classified as an NPL for a reason. So it's just like their first statement says that it's there to make sure that Americans have access to clean air, land, and water. And when it affects our health because the MCLs are above regular level, it is affecting our health. So whether that means drinking water or regular water, if something is affecting our health, the EPA is supposed to stand in. And they're like, we're not the drinking water program, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because it's still affecting our. Where is the video?
Where is that at?
In our Kate and Chris group chat. It should be like when I started sending you today, it should be like the second video, I think.
There's no way. The second video you sent me is WHBU.
Okay, hold on. Can I click off of here without it making me leave?
I don't really know. But if you leave, you can hop back in.
Okay.
Oh, she left.
Oh, I can still hear you though.
No, she can hear us. Oh, we can hear you too.
Okay, so it just probably has me pause, but hold on.
I should have been like, oh, she left. And then she would have been like cussing us in the background or something.
I'm gonna send it in Messenger real quick.
Yeah, send it in Messenger to me again. Oh. You sent it in the other group. Okay.
Sorry, that was the most recent one I could
No,
see.
that's all right. That's all right. It's all the same. Oh, I did have this one. I'm an idiot. That's all right. Here we go. Okay.
We are not the drinking water program. There's a.
So there I highlighted their mission statement. Oh, you'll have to, it's a reel, so it skipped to Aaron Brockovich's message, but the mission statement says that they're there to protect the human health. And then the first
So just need
line.
to reiterate, we are not the
So just need to reiterate, we are not the drinking water
program.
program. And then here is our mission and what we do. Our mission. The mission of the EPA is to protect human health and the environment. EPA works to ensure that Americans have clean air, land, and water. National efforts to reduce environmental risks based off the best available scientific information. Blah, blah, blah.
So they're not really ensuring anything
you,
if they're taking
Tumblefoot.
7 years to do something. So
Yeah,
if it's in the drinking water or if it's in the unfinished water, because someone was trying to say, well, like groundwater and drinking water are two separate things. Well, not when the groundwater is contaminating the public's drinking water.
Yeah, right.
Like they put the Wheeler treatment plant, like the Herald Bulletin has an article that says the Wheeler treatment plant was added to the Superfund list. So our treatment plant was added to the Superfund list. It means our drinking water, like that, it's being affected by the site. So it's not really a separate thing, and they're trying to treat it like it's separate. And it's not, because it's affecting our health. And if drinking water program from EPA needs to step in, then why did you guys not have them there last night?
Why?
When your documents state that it's in our drinking water? Because I don't know, did they not even ever read their own documents? I don't know. And they also stated that they would be drilling to see how far the contamination goes, which is very ironic because the date of our first meeting, the communities meeting that we held, they had emailed me, and maybe it was a few days before, but they had emailed me and they said that flooding does not contaminate, or flooding does not affect the NPL site because the groundwater plume is not deep enough.
God.
And then they come last night and they said that they have to do drilling to see how deep the contamination is. So do they already know how deep it is, or do they still have to find out? Because, a few weeks ago they were telling me they already knew. Last night they say they have to come back out and see how far it goes.
God.
Exactly. They are definitely ignoring their own documents. I even brought up in the very beginning, and it's on recording, I was talking to Clara, which is the engineer on the site. And I told her in one of the documents, it states that in 2004, the contamination was found in the drinking water. And she said, where is that at? That shouldn't be in there. And I'm like, what? Like, because I was like, I had lost sleep trying to contact the EPA and item for days. And finally I got in contact with them. And I'm like, you're telling me that it's not even right. And I just lost sleep over this crazy information that I read. You know what I mean? And if it's not right, then good. I'm glad it's not in the drinking water. But she was like, I showed her where it was. And I sent her the link to it. And she said, oh, no, that's correct. Thank you for pointing that out.
What?
So not only did I bring it up to them, they didn't bother to even read that document after I brought it up to them, and they still acted like they didn't know it was in their drinking water at the meeting last night.
Who is this girl? Do you know her? How do you know her?
Yeah. I said they know exactly who I am. Listen to that part. It was
Hey,
funny. Larry Savage got up there and he spoke for the community. I thought that was a great little speech that he had. I
he
mean,
didn't take any water samples with him as he left it, did he?
No.
All right.
We brought it for the EPA and item only. So
Okay.
we're not gonna make our own drink it.
Right. Yeah.
He's
right,
already been
right.
messed with too much.
Yeah. Right. Right. Hey, my nephew David Williams here. My nephew wants to. Number one says Purdue has a test site. We used to test our wells every year. Hey nephew, does that cost you? If so, how much? And can you send me some information about it? And number two, David wants to know, where can I find out where the Lapel Superfund site information, I think he left off, is, but where can you find out information about that?
You can look it up on the EPA website, but if it's hard to find, you can, I mean, he could message me and I can send him the links that I've pulled, like from, because the EPA website, like, it takes you to like the basic information, but then you kind of have to go and like pull your own sources. So I've pulled some of them. I can send them to you, or you can have him contact me. I mean,
David, this person and Catherine are friends. Contact Catherine or contact Bree, and they can help you out with that information. Or Megan's gonna go look, I guess. Megan's like honorary producer for the show.
yeah, that was right, Catherine.
But it redirects us. There's so much going on here right now. EPA Gov, Superfund.
It's good.
Yeah. Listen, a lot of involvement. I'm looking on the if you're looking on the EFA page,
I refuse to talk to David Williams.
Hey, now he's my nephew, so be nice to him.
If you look on the EPA page, if you search in your search bar and search Superfund sites near me, and it should bring up a link to searching it near you, and then you want to hit the advanced search for archived and NPL list as well. Superfund sites in Lapel or Brownfields. There are 2 Superfund sites in Lapel, and I have not even touched the surface about Brownfields.
Well, yeah.
We could probably do a whole nother show just on
yeah, I mean, that's the thing, it's so rough. Well, and that's when Kiff said earlier that yeah, right, Aaron. Kiff said that Kokomo's dealing with this. The thing is, everywhere that had a factory or currently has a factory or had a factory is dealing with this. Whether they know it or not might be another story, but there's a lot of places that are dealing with this. They might just not know about it.
And brownfields are brownfields are almost worse than Superfund sites, because they are, for some reason, the EPA has kind of not classified them as serious as Superfund sites, but they can contain almost as much contamination, and they have no oversight. So the EPA doesn't step in at all with those typically. And those are everywhere. I mean, the map for Indiana is like, when you look at it zoomed out a little bit, it looks like the whole state of Indiana has yellow squares, like literally filling the whole state.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's terrible. And it's like, those are, we have 42 Superfund sites in Madison County. You have 64 in Delaware County. Could you imagine how many brownfields there are?
No, that would be crazy. I mean, and the Superfund sites, I'll be honest, I knew nothing about it.
If you want the link, I can pull.
Yeah. Tell me what that is. I'll pull that up.
Okay, hold on. I have to pull up here real quick, but I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah, Megan, that's right. That's exactly right. I'm telling you, like, this is a thing. I always laugh when people like, so what's funny is my mother was not political, just became political in the last couple of years, and now she's like crazy head over heels into it. But I remember when my mom used to be like asleep and didn't know this stuff, and I remember when she was like going through the process of kind of like waking up and getting involved, and just was like being disgusted by things, and I would be like, man, it's insane that you didn't know this stuff. But this is kind of like my that I didn't know about. I mean, I knew what a brownfield was, and I know that those are bad, and I know about contamination, and I know that shit, but I didn't know anything about Superfund Sites. I'd heard the word before. I knew about it. I was involved with the fight when Muncie tried bringing the whale sustainable product here. And I knew Tweety Bird. I knew that Tweety Bird and her neighbors were fighting this stuff. Were fighting Exide and all that. I knew all that stuff was happening, but as far as this stuff, I just haven't thought about this, and this really freaks me out. So it's crazy.
And that's how I was too. And it's kind of funny because it's like another environmental thing. The Malarkey shingle plant that tried to come to Anderson is what got me involved in, so to say, politics, because I had never really, I mean, I used to literally walk around and say, like, I don't get into politics. Like, that's not my thing. You know what I mean? But it's like, and like, I don't want anyone to take offense to it, but it is, in a literal sense, it's ignorant to say that, because politics literally have effect on your well-being, your children's well-being. Like they decide who runs our schools, they decide how much money we pay, how we suffer with our environment, or how we thrive with our environment. Like it all boils down to who's making the decisions and who's standing up for us.
Absolutely.
And so like it really is like, if you care about your well-being and like your health, your life, like you should care about politics. And I mean, but it's like an environmental thing got me into that. And that should tell people that, yes, it's like, you don't have to be, like, Republican or Democratic or whatever to care about your water. And in that sense,
Right.
it's not political to have to care about it, but it is political in a sense that there's been people, specifically political officials, that have known about this issue and have done little to nothing to make you aware of it. And that's who you're voting for. And it's like, I don't know. When I found this out, I couldn't sleep at night. Like I literally lost sleep. Like I lost weight. Like I mean, I just could not sleep. I was like, I need to tell people. So if I was an elected official and I knew, you hold so much more power. And so I don't know how those people sleep at night knowing that this is an issue and they don't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Kiff said.
Also, Stumblefoot said that VOCs cannot be filtered out of water, and that's absolutely correct. There's supposed to be vapor intrusion studies. And by the way, that was not mentioned in the EPA meeting last night. Like, they did not say that they were going to do vapor intrusion monitoring. And the EPA actually told a citizen that they don't do vapor intrusion monitoring, which is, it may be true that they don't do it directly, but they're supposed to enforce agencies to do it to make sure that we're safe.
Sure.
And so they didn't even mention it. And VOCs are present in our water.
That's crazy.
VOCs are present in my water all the way out here in Lapel.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
I sit on a completely different aquifer than the people in Anderson. So
Jesus. I mean, that's really nuts to think about.
And there's only two Superfund sites near me. So and one's not even an active business anymore. So it's just, you think about it and it's like, I can't imagine what a result would look like from someone in Anderson near the site. And it's like, people think that sometimes these sites they think they're, out in the woods or out of sight, out of mind. Like, they're not really close to city limits sometimes. But they have to remember that, like, a site is, the typical rule of thumb is 3 to 5 miles out from this site, you're being affected.
Yeah.
So it's like there's 42 in the county and 22 in Anderson. No, it's like, I mean, can you even go anywhere
You can't. No, that's
without
yeah, that's
being
right.
within a you know,
Yeah,
within a
it's
radius of
yeah.
one?
Well, and the problem is they start to overlap, right?
Right.
So, it's like it's a
And
Venn
that's
diagram
just
of
the ones we know
awfulness.
about. I mean,
Yeah,
and we
right.
know that they've completely deleted some off their list.
Yeah, right.
So it's just super concerning. It's like it's honestly so wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Megan, so just briefly, the election process is the whole year, right? So the primary is when Republicans run against Republicans and Democrats run against Democrats. So in May, like let's just talk about the prosecutor's office. If you have two candidates that are both wanting to be prosecutor and they're both Republican, then they face off in the primary in May. So it's important for you to go and vote in that. So you would pull a Republican ballot and you would pick which Republican candidates you wanted, or you would go in and you would pick a Democrat ballot and you could vote between the Democrat candidates that are running for specific offices. And then if you've got John Doe and Andrew Hanna running for Republican prosecutors, both Republicans, you could go in and you could pick John Doe or Andrew Hanna. And then whoever wins from May goes on to November to face the Democrat in November. So that's how that goes. That's what happens. And we'll talk about that as we get closer. That's a whole nother thing. Megan, I don't know if you've been watching. I think you've been watching for a while. You ought to keep watching because we'll cover all of that and give you all the best information you need as we get closer. We love when new people are watching, so that's great. I think you've been watching for a while, but keep watching. We'll keep you posted. Kiff said something that's really big that I want to, or not really big, but I want to know what Kiff said. What was the location again, please? What are you asking, Kiff? The location of what? Are you asking for a specific site to something? I want to make sure to answer that because you're always very helpful, but I don't know what you're asking there. You said, what was the location again? So if you could let me know what you're saying, we'll try to answer that. And then the other thing was she said location again. The location to what, Kiff?
Maybe the location to the NPL site.
If you let me know. Yeah, there's not an opponent. I was just making that up. I'm just saying there could be 2 or 3 people running as a Republican for a mayor, or 2 or 3 people running for commissioner. You vote for them in May. Republicans and Democrats aren't duking it out in May. You vote to May. That's like the qualifying round, and then you get into November. And then November is when you vote Republican versus Democrat. Yeah. Look, ask that question again. Let me know what you're talking about, Kiff, and we'll answer you. This was the thing that she was talking about the brownfields, and this is wild. So,
Yeah. So you will have to zoom in, or I think
so everything,
Indiana
everything covering all of the orange are the brownfields.
Yeah.
So it's not even Indiana; it's just the entire United States is a brownfield.
I think so. I think it gives you a guide on I can't see the screen that far, but
so it says change radius. I don't know what that.
No, I mean to your right. Does it not give you like a color code guide or?
Oh.
Is that telling you what the
Incidents
colors
of
mean?
national significance is the diamond. Oh, so yeah, there's a code here.
Right.
Yeah. Brownfield properties, brownfields, Superfund, non-NPL, federal facility. Let's get what radius do I want? Did you ever mess with that?
No, I just normally just typically zoom in on Indiana, and I don't mess with that little thingy over there.
No,
So like, see, like if you're
Man,
like
what is going
kind of out a little bit from Indiana, it like looks like almost the whole state. It's scattered all over the state. Like there's so
Yeah,
many
that's
dots.
crazy. So yeah, I don't know. Over here on the legend on the left, it's define your community. I imagine you could put that in whatever. And then the legend over here tells you what all of what everything means. So if you get closer, location of what site? What's the location of the site that we're talking about?
For Lapel or for Anderson?
For Anderson or both of them. So what's the site for Anderson?
The one for Anderson is the one that we've been talking about is the NPL site at Broadway and Grand Avenue. Kind of like they locate it by Frisch's in Anderson, Broadway and Grand.
Broadway and Grand in Anderson.
Mm-hmm. And the one in Lapel is the two in Lapel is Brockway Glass. And I'm not sure of the address off the top of my head. And then Long Open Dump, which sits like kind of on the outer skirts of Lapel.
Okay.
But it is right next to Stony Creek, so I don't know if that helps, but
okay. And this is for brownfield sites. This is the other thing that we were looking at. If you look here, like in Anderson, and for most of the people, if you look here, we've got East Central Indiana here. So that's a little funky, Megan. Anyone can run for anything. You normally can't have a nonprofit. You got to be really careful with a nonprofit. A nonprofit cannot have anything. It cannot endorse anything related to politics. But yeah, I mean, there are people that have been involved with nonprofits that have ran, but you just have to completely separate them out. I mean, you can't have, you just can't endorse, contribute politically. Gotta be real careful with that. Looking here, we'll go to Anderson first, since a lot of you people are from Anderson. Moment. So, I'll be honest. Anderson doesn't really have as many as I thought they would. It's still too much.
Yeah.
It's still way too
those
much.
are all those dots are sites that have no oversight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because they're just, for some reason, they just don't deem them as necessary for cleanup as Superfund sites. But that's just not, like in their eyes, yeah. But in like the public's eyes, I mean, why wouldn't you want to address all of it?
I wound up in the Pacific Ocean. Okay. Muncie. I guess either, but yeah, that's pretty crazy. Wait a minute, this one's up by me. What do we got going on here? Morningside. What's here in Morningside? What is this? What would this be? No way.
What is
What is this? What is this? Where would that be? Yale. That's crazy. Huh. Well, I'm surprised. I'll have to play around with this, but yeah, this shit's real crazy if you start looking at it. And I mean, it can, I guess it can really cause, like you said, it's caused you to have sleepless nights.
Right. It's like, and more so when I found out that people didn't know,
That's
like,
yeah.
I can't be the one that that just stumbled across it. You know what I'm saying? Like it just does. It's so crazy to me that that's how people are finding out.
Yeah.
That's not how people should have to find out. It shouldn't have to come from a citizen.
Right. Yeah.
Hold on, Nicole.
What'd she say?
She asked for the link. I put it in the wrong group chat, so I'm putting it in there so she can have it.
Wow. Tweety Bird, you remember where do you remember where they held that girl hostage? Those guys held her hostage and held a guy hostage and shot him with nail guns, taped him up inside a barn, typed him up inside of a garage a couple years back, and the girl broke loose and ran to McClure's on Broadway. That's where that is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a crazy ass story.
Oh wow.
So this is where that was for people in Muncie interested about here. Here's Broadway going north. Up here is where Puerto Vallarta used to be. Here's where Puerto Vallarta is now. And this blue barn here is where the Superfund, or not Superfund, but it's, I guess, considered a brownfield.
That is where they're putting the new jail. Is Muncie getting a new jail too?
Muncie has a new jail.
Someone just said that's close to where they're putting the new jail.
I don't know what Carrie. That's not us. That he must. I don't know what they're talking about there.
Yeah, and Heidi just said, just look at the kids playing in Killbuck Creek today and fishing, and do they have any idea? And it's like, I didn't get a chance to mention that last night at the meeting, but they know that this is an NPL site. It's been on the NPL site for 8 years, and it should be closed to the public. Yeah, if you look up Killbuck Wetlands, it advertises to you. You can come fish there, bring your kids to play in the water, have your dog run in the water. It's the fish, the documents that from EPA showed that the fish in Killbuck Wetlands had elevated PCB levels. I sent you a post in the group chat if you want to pull it up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The one between me and Kate and you.
Yeah.
There's one that says something super concerning at the NPL at the well. And it has like a picture of like, don't eat the fish. If you want to put that up, it shows some of the health issues that you can experience from either eating fish that is contaminated with PCBs from sites like this, or even just living near sites like this. These are health issues that can come from that, or that can be progressed if you live in the area.
Yeah, you guys probably can't see this very well, but I'll read it.
Okay.
And this is on Brianna's page for those of you that can see her stuff. It's open to the public. This post is. So this post was from the 26th of April. It says list of serious health issues that can come from living near and or eating contaminated fish coming from around Superfund sites: neurological and neurodegenerative disorders, ALS, which is Lou Gehrig's disease, linked in studies to exposure to heavy metals and environmental toxins. Parkinson's disease associated with chronic exposure to heavy metals and industrial chemicals. Cognitive decline, memory problems, attention deficits, developmental delays in children. Peripheral neuropathy, numbness, tingling, and pain from nerve damage. cancer, liver cancer linked to PAH exposure, kidney cancer associated with heavy metal exposure, lung cancer from inhaling PAHs or other airborne contaminants, skin cancer, chronic exposure to PAHs may increase risk, cardiovascular issues, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, atherosclerosis, sclerosis, plaque buildup in arteries due to oxidative stress from toxins, immune system effects, suppressed immune functions, making individuals more susceptible to infections, autoimmune disease triggered by chemical exposures in genetically susceptible people, reproductive and developmental issues, birth defects, mercury and PAHs are what is that?
I'm sorry,
Teratogen?
I can't read. I cannot
Low
even
birth
see.
weight or preterm birth, infertility, especially with chronic heavy metal exposure, endocrine disruption, thyroid dysfunction. Mercury can disrupt hormone production, diabetes, insulin resistance linked to persistent organic pollutants, POPs like PAHs, liver and kidney disease, hepatotoxicity, liver inflammation and damage from chemical exposure, nephrotoxicity, kidney damage, especially from mercury, respiratory problems, asthma or COPD, PAHs and other airborne pollutants can irritate lungs. Warning, fish contaminated, do not eat.
And then if you go through the pictures and then it shows the document where it stated that the fish in Killbuck wetlands have PCB in their tissue, I believe. Oh, maybe it's not on that one.
Yeah, not
Hold on.
there.
I'm going to see if it's on the other one.
Yeah, it does sound like the Teflon stuff. You know, my dad passed from kidney cancer. He did some welding. He owned Muncie Tent and Awning, and he would weld pipes, and I always thought that the gases from welding and some of the chemicals they would use to strip away the material on the awnings that they used is what led to his kidney cancer. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, you don't want to be screwing around with that crap.
Okay. I sent the post that talks about the PCBs being in the fish in the wetlands. So also we were told that the well that is used right there, that's Rainy Well number 4. And at some point in time, it was loaded with mercury. And like, not a little bit, they said buckets full.
Buckets full.
So I think it was mercury and PCBs is what was found in the edible tissue of the fish in the Killbuck wetlands. And there was also like a mollusk it's like an endangered species in the area. I cannot read that, but if you want to read where I highlighted, I think is where I highlighted the stuff about the fish.
The West Fork, White River, and Killbuck Creek are target fisheries located in Rainy Well Field. IDEM's official Office of Water Quality conducted a total maximum daily load assessment for both the West Fork, White River, and Killbuck Creek. The assessment found PCBs and mercury present in edible fish tissue. Now listen, everybody, I'm saying PCBs, not PCPs. So
yeah, PCB.
Everybody out there that's like thinking, oh shit, go eat the fish. Relax. This is the bad stuff. Exceeding Indiana's human health criteria for these contaminants. Mercury was only detected in the 10 to 15 inch largemouth bass. Oh, okay.
Right.
That's all right. So Killbuck Creek in Madison County has one fish species with an assigned fish consumption advisory for PCBs. The West Fork White River in Madison County has 10 fish species with assigned fish consumption advisory for PCBs. That's scary crap.
Yeah. So if you go back to the post, like where my caption is, it shows like another picture of the well, and it shows that well specifically. Neil McKee said, it's one of the wells that's 40 or 50 to 70 years past its lifespan. So I put up there that can leave the well susceptible to contaminants coming in from the outside environment around it. So the wetlands flood all the time. So if the fish in the wetlands have mercury in them and the water is flooding to the point it's, near the well,
contaminated water and sediment can seep
it's
directly
not
into the
only the
compromised
stuff
well.
inside the well, but it's the stuff on the outside of the well.
Even without floods, groundwater and moisture are likely carrying toxic chemicals into it every day. That's happening. It's not just the fish and the wetlands that are at risk. It's the groundwater below, possibly spreading mercury and PCBs even further. This is exactly why aging infrastructure at toxic sites matter. Now, instead of securing federal funding like most cities dealing with major environmental hazards, first they have set a $130 million project funded by a bond, doubling residents' water bills, with no clear plan for how the toxic contamination issues are being addressed. Multiple times it's been stated remedial investigation will continue, but it has been delayed over and over. We deserve transparency. We deserve environmental safety. We deserve a real plan, not rushed debt, hidden contamination, and broken promises. Demand answers. Yeah, that's crazy shit, man. That is really crazy stuff.
And there's holes all around the well. Like we have close-up pictures of all around the bottom of the well. There's like these little holes that they're seeping water out of them. Like from the inside, it seems like. And so obviously that's an entry point for anything on the outside. So when those waters flood, it's not only what's in the wells, we also have to worry about what's in the flooding plain. And, EPA told me that our plume isn't affected by flooding because it's not deep enough. Which is false. And we also don't just have one plume, we have 3 plumes. And at the meeting last night, they said that they only focused on one plume in one area. And if you read the document, I mean, you can just go to the EPA website and just read the background on it, and it tells you the Broadway corridor site is listed as one intersection, but it consists of 3 different groundwater plumes. And they only talked about one.
That's really crazy.
See why I had to walk out?
Yeah, right. Where did you go?
Oh,
what happened?
I don't know.
You somehow disappeared yourself.
You disappeared me. I didn't do nothing.
So, well, I really, I mean, just like things with Catherine sometimes, and a lot of stuff we talk about. I mean, we could go on for hours and hours and hours and hours. I talked to her before the show, and she's like, I don't know. I think it's going to be a really short show. I don't think it's going to be. I don't have a lot to talk. I don't have a lot to talk about. And then
I did say that, and here we are, an hour and 48 minutes in.
I don't know about that. I disagree with that. I think that you can get to a point where you can listen to enough. What?
What are you disagreeing with?
With Catherine, of course. She said never walk out, but I listen, I've been in meetings before, because I would say the same thing. 90% of the time I would say the same thing. But I've also been in meetings before, not many of them, but I've been in a couple meetings where I have done that very same thing. And it's to me, to show these people, like, I value nothing that you're saying, and you continue on lying or saying what you're saying. I've got a different plan, and I'm going on. You've heard me. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm not going to sit in here and listen to your bullshit anymore. And I don't value what you're saying. So that's it. So,
And they tried to dictate a public meeting. I mean, like, they're not our public officials, and they came in and tried to tell us when we could do public comment.
yeah, we're right. So, I think there's.
I called Kyle on his crap tonight on the show, and I'm sure he'll tune in.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kyle's a longtime listener. Kyle's hearing it. And he, look, Kyle knows he's full of shit to begin with. Kyle needs to go. Somebody needs to step forward. And I'm telling you, you cannot wait. If let me put it like this. If you're out there and you're waiting until January to say, all right, we're going to find a team, then you might as well not even do it. There's not a point in doing it. If you're somebody out there and you're serious and you want to run against Kyle, you're already setting up the team now. You're talking to people and you're plotting your shit. If you notice, man, the serious people are already announcing runnings for next year. That's how serious politicians work. You don't file on a whim and be like, oh, I'm going to do it. No, that doesn't work like that. So somebody has to file to run against Kyle. We got to get rid of him. Madison County deserves better. There's a lot of people around here locally in Delaware County that we need to do better. J.D. Prescott needs to go. Scott Alexander needs to go. On. So, all right, we'll have you back on again. So what's the next step for you guys?
So our next community meeting will be held May 21st. So we'll continue to post information in the Superfund group, but hopefully securing some testing for water. We'll go through any more game plans at the meeting. We have lots of information to share. I'm still working on, I have been in contact with some professionals like hydrogeologists and some environmentalist groups, waiting for a few of them to contact me back. So we'll announce any updates with that in the group. But so at the meeting, they did talk about EPA, talked about nominating a community involved group to stay involved with the EPA and stay involved with educating the public. And a member of the community nominated our Superfund group that we've already established. So the EPA agreed to it. So hopefully anything further with the EPA we'll be able to update through our group. So.
I heard this too, and I'm just going to say, I think it has to be your group, because I think the EPA's rules are that they are inviting and they won't kick anybody out there, and they let everybody be a member. And so I think the other group, I don't even think the other group can be, I don't know that if they'll be nominated or whatever, but if they are, I don't think that they're valid, because they've already blocked people, even people ahead of anything happening. They've blocked people. So I don't think it can be that group. It should be your group. You guys were the first people out here doing this, really kind of pushing hard on this issue. And I think it would make sense if it was your group.
Right.
So tell me the name of your page so we can share that.
It's the, I'm going to go to it real quick so I can tell you. It's Superfund Site Awareness Group, Madison County, Indiana.
So it looks like this, people. If you want to get on there and jump on, it is the Superfund Site Awareness Group, Madison County, Indiana. There are currently 287 members. There needs to be a whole lot more than that. So we need to get on there.
A little over 50,000 people receive water from Anderson City water. So we should realistically have 50,000 people in that group.
Yeah, there's absolutely no question. I mean, this is
But I
definitely,
really do want to also say thank you to everyone who has showed up, who has joined the group already
yeah,
and continues to show up. I mean, without all of you guys, we would not be continuing to do meetings and, continuing to spread that information out there. So I'm glad that people are taking an interest in it. And I appreciate everyone that came to the meeting and spoke out yesterday. So it was really a lot of the community. They held the room. They wanted to dictate the room, but the community held their own. So I was proud of them.
yeah. Kate has put the link to the group in the chat. And real quick before we go, what is the deal with this the creature thing? I've seen this. Tell everybody what this is.
Oh, so that was found at Plant 9. Heidi and Nicole actually came across that article when they were doing some digging on potential sites or just history and sites. So this was a GM plant, I believe, and they were emptying out one of their what do they call it? Like some kind of pit that they had, and they were emptying it out, and they found these squid-like creatures in the pit, and they had what seemed to be eyes and tentacles, and they were alive and thriving in there. And then apparently that article says that someone, the GM workers, the plant workers, captured a creature, put it in a jar, and it was supposed to be sent off for testing, but the sample disappeared. And then the EPA stated that they had never seen anything like it before.
That's scary.
Yep.
You think that then one of the now what I heard is that the ones that got away, they kind of started mushing together, and over time they kind of morphed into
a colony.
Broderick, the mayor of Anderson. And so that
you're so funny.
So yeah, I don't know. I
really thought you were I thought you were telling me a
real
story.
No. If if anyone ever gets a chance to take his shirt off and tell me if he's got other tentacles, we'll know.
Right.
So, but I don't know. Yeah, I read this and I was like, dude, this is crazy. This is crazy enough that people should get involved. Even the crazies out there could get involved and be like, I want to, whatever, let's clean this up.
Well, people say that that's and people want to trust the officials so much. And there's a lot of people that commented on a post about that I put on my page, and they said that it was about as real as some politician or something like that, and they said it was not real pretty much, and that it was a fake story. And I'm like, but the EPA showed up to a meeting and literally said they had never seen anything like it before. Now I know that they don't always tell the truth, but I don't see them coming to a meeting and just stating something that they would typically probably try to hide and stating something like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't know if it's fake. And the EPA said something about it. So
hey, if the EPA says it,
right,
it's got to be true. Yeah, right. Well, very good. We'll have you back on, and we'll find out what goes on. Keep up the fight. You're always welcome back here anytime, as always. So we appreciate you. And what year was the creature supposedly found? Do we know?
I think it says it in the article. I think it was it 90s?
Yeah, it was 97.
97.
Herald Bulletin, Anderson, Indiana, March 25th, 1997. Heather says, my friend's dad worked there and notified his boss about what was found. They forced him into a demotion. It says 97 on the thing. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I really appreciate you letting me come on and keep talking about this. So I'm sure we'll have more updates, and if we get any big ones, I'll probably ask to come back on.
Oh, absolutely, always. Yeah. We'll stay involved, and like Tweety Bird said, and it very serious. The more public that you guys go with this, and the more time you're speaking out, the more chances that a scientist or some other expert will hear, see, and decide to help.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to them. I mean, that's what happened in the well sustainable product deal. That's really what needs to happen. And listen, there are people in Anderson like that. They just have to be, the right amount of noise needs to be made, and they need to see that people are serious. We just need to keep banging the drum, and I think that you've got it. I think that we'll do whatever we can to help spread the word. So I appreciate your time, and we'll have you back on anytime.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Thank you, girl.
All right. Bye.
All righty. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Bree Davis. And we always enjoy talking to Brianna. Scary stuff, man. That's why I'll stick with my bottled water and deal with whatever plastics are coming from this deal. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening. If you have not hit that like button, please consider doing so before you leave. That would be fantastic. We don't ask for you guys to give us money. If you want to give us money, that would be fantastic. Somebody wants to give us like $100 or $200. If you want to give us $10 or you want to give us $5, that's fantastic. We've got that stuff available. I don't know how you do it, but you have to figure it out. Whatever. I don't know. But if you don't want to do that, just share the show with everyone you know. That's the main thing. That's the biggest thing. And continue coming back. Smash that like button, and we'll go from there. We will be back tomorrow at 9 p.m. for episode 446. As always, we will be talking about the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. We'll talk about the Muncie Board of Works meeting, and we've got some big shit coming up. So you guys take care. God bless, and have a great day tomorrow. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. God willing. Good night. Goodbye.